right, so this is video 2 of our continued coverage of the Black Panther movie.
Black excellence.
I feel like we're goddamn news doing a special crisis event.
It was a big event.
It was a big event.
Big event.
The difference between this one and the review is this one, we're gonna go a bit more in depth about a lot of the themes and issues surrounding the movie, because we feel like that's something that needs to be discussed and examined.
Yeah, real world stuff, basically. How this movie, from everything from how it got put together to the storyline to the effect that it has on society, the potential effect that it will have in the future of society. All that good stuff.
Right. I think, starting off, one of the reasons why this movie had this effect on people is because of the myriad of images that they put out there that sparked up stuff in the national consciousness.
Yeah.
Stuff that's like even old crap from hundreds of years ago. Like it touched on a lot of those different themes just from the imagery. Because for some reason in this country, when you start mentioning Africa, people lose their damn minds.
First of all, it's a country to them, which is a problem in and of itself.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things, I just want to get into this because of how it affected me personally.
Right.
I'm one of the lucky people, whereas, and I'm not saying that everybody that doesn't feel this way has an issue with this, but
right.
I'm one of the lucky people who has a very active imagination. So, as far as representation is concerned, it's not something that I necessarily need.
Right.
Personally need.
Right.
Because my imagination allows me to put myself in several weird and wacky scenarios that I know I'd never be in. Anyway.
And truthfully, going off of the numbers of people that went and watched all the other Marvel ones, I don't believe that they have an issue with buying into a character based on representation either. Because
exactly.
All walks of life like those movies,
yeah,
from different ethnic groups and everything else. So I don't believe that that's the central problem.
But after watching this movie, I strongly feel that it wasn't ancillary. It wasn't extra.
Right.
It was still very much necessary.
Yeah.
Even though I personally am not someone who required that,
right.
I know how many people do.
Right.
And I know I've talked to so many people that have said things like this. People who are commenting on the strong black female characters, who are commenting on the non just stagnant characteristics of black people. It's not even the representation of the African American in Killmonger.
Right.
He's not a stereotypical black
the dude
man.
Graduated from MIT.
I think at 19 or something.
Yeah, he's like a genius.
Yeah, like, come on. Peak of physical condition.
And we know that's not true of Americans.
It's just a lot. It's a lot. So there was a lot of controversy and backlash. And the thing is, I think with this more than anything, you can pretty clearly figure out that it was a vocal minority.
Yeah, a very vocal.
Look at the numbers.
Right.
5th highest opening of all time. Highest opening weekend of all time.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't... 3 of them are Star Wars.
Right. Right.
Like,
which is a huge multi-decade franchise.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's, I don't know. It's a lot to unpack. And that's the thing. I think that's even going to help with the numbers in the long run. Yeah. Because I think people are going to go back to see it. It kind of goes was something we said in the review, where although it's unapologetically black, it's also very digestible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody can watch this movie. I'm talking about every aspect, whether it's a race difference, whether it's a gender difference, whether it's I haven't seen any of the other MCU.
Right, right.
Whatever it is, you can go into this movie and watch it as a standalone film, and it holds up.
It still holds up. And again, it's like you said, like some of the issues surrounding the movie are basically because of unanswered and conversations that are awkward, so people don't want to have them. And by not having those conversations, it festers the stereotypes. And it's also a lot of lack of information, because I noticed a lot of people that are team Killmonger, which is understandable, but a lot of them, I feel like they approach it from a standpoint because they don't understand the actual history that happened with the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah.
See, because the prevailing mythology, one, is that, and you'll see this theme inside the movie, where Killmonger is mad because they abandoned him. He felt abandoned by the people from his home country. That, in a microcosm, is an example that's really macro.
Yep.
That feeling, that sentiment is actually huge amongst African Americans because of the prevailing view, the way we were taught about the history of that we were abandoned, that our people sold their own people over here. Now, when you actually go and study the history, the actual Africans didn't do anything different than the Europeans did, because the English didn't view the French as their people.
Right.
That was a different nation, a different tribe. So that's the same thing that was happening in Africa. We're talking about sometimes tribes that had different languages, different religions, different customs, different policies, you name it, different dress, you name it. So they didn't view the tribe that they were at war with as part of their people, no more than anybody else would have, or any other continent on the planet at that time. That's not how that looked.
Which fits in with the movie,
right?
When M'Baku told everybody, "Hey, we're not helping you."
Right.
Right. We're not helping y'all.
Right.
A king hasn't been here in 30 years or however.
To see us. Right.
Yeah. So you aren't our people. So it
and they lived just up in the mountainous areas.
Yep.
Like, it's not like they were on a whole nother continent or many miles away. No, they just lived up in the mountainous areas, and they felt like the white gorilla tribe is not the same as that Panther tribe down there. No, it's a different thing going on over here. So that's the first misconception.
Let's talk about that real quick, though. I'm so happy talking about comic book movies and comic book accuracy that they did not call him Man-Ape.
Right, I hate man. But you know what? Now, let me ask you a question about that. Do you think they didn't call him Man-Ape because of comic book accuracy, or because of the baggage?
Oh, the baggage.
Calling a big black man.
I think
Man-Ape is.
Ryan Coogler was not having.
He wasn't going for it.
That's not to say that. No, don't do that. That's not to say that Kevin Feige wanted.
Right.
No,
right,
but
right.
I don't believe that Ryan Coogler.
No, not what I know about him. No, he wasn't going to let that go down. He wasn't
Absolutely.
going to let that go down at all. Not
I'm
at all.
so glad they made that change.
Yes. I think the other thing too is this idea that we weren't fought for, and that's because we weren't taught about all the battles that took place where the tribesmen were fighting the slavers to try to get their people back. They're like little battlefields over there that you can go and visit right now. If you get a passport, you can go over there and visit. There were actual battlefields where these battles took place. So it wasn't like we were abandoned. The reality of the situation is slavery wasn't new even during the transatlantic slave trade.
Not even close.
And it wasn't exclusive to Africans. So a lot of the stuff that we went through was somewhat unique, but the apparatus that they used to put us through those things was not.
As long as people have been here,
There's been slaves.
yeah.
There's been slaves. And this, once again, is a prevailing view with a lot of African Americans here in America that feel as though they were left behind, they were forgotten, this, that, and other, and that builds up animosity. Of course, there are certain people in the dominant demographic that feed off of that animosity by telling us they don't even look at you like you one of them.
Yep.
It wasn't until I got older and started actually meeting Africans from the continent where a lot of that kind of got shelved. It was a cognitive dissonance because of the stuff I was told versus how they are treating me. They're not treating me like you said they would treat me.
Because you're supposed to believe they're savages.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to learn this at a young age because I went to school in Kenya when I was 10 and 11. So I never got a chance to really develop that disconnect.
Right.
Because I was 10. I never really got a chance. No, it wasn't deeply rooted inside of me and allowed to fester before I got corrected. Right. So I got lucky in that aspect. But let's talk about this cast. Not just the cast. Let's talk about what let's say every movie is a joke. Let's say let's talk about what the employ of this movie does for us.
Right.
So you have a 31-year-old director
from Oakland, California,
who is literally, this is no exaggeration, after what is only his third movie. Let's go through this. His first movie, he attacked police brutality. Mm-hmm. His second movie, he turned the Rocky franchise into a black movie.
Right.
And his third movie, he brought us the second big budget, because I don't know how big Blade's budget was.
That's a good point.
But the second, I'll say, big budget African American superhero on a large scale.
Right.
That's 3 movies in, and now because of the success that he's had, he doesn't have to interview for a job.
Oh no!
Ever again at 31.
Oh no!
At 31, he doesn't have to interview for a job again. You talk about Chadwick Boseman at 41. He's done so much as far as characterizing African American heroes.
Jackie Robinson,
James Brown,
Thurgood Marshall,
and now T'Challa. Let's talk about the gentleman. I don't know his last name if you remember it.
Crap. I'm spazzing.
I don't remember his last name.
Screen.
But Nate, he's at Marvel. He's a producer at Marvel. He's an African American.
Yeah.
He is the reason we got Chadwick as T'Challa.
Right.
And he is the reason we got Ryan Coogler to direct.
Right.
Which, to keep going, the reason that we got Michael B. Jordan in the movie is because Ryan Coogler directed. Who was in his other 2 movies? Michael B. Jordan.
That's right.
You want to talk about Lupita and all the things that she's been doing.
Lupita.
You want to talk about the breakout star of the movie, Letitia Wright.
Yeah.
And what this is going to do for her career.
AKA the newest Disney princess.
The newest Disney princess. She's already cast in Infinity War.
Yeah.
So, outside of her dying, which is possible.
It's possible because it's Marvel. It's movie Marvel. So
and in the comic books, she was killed by Proxima Midnight.
Right.
Who was going to be in Infinity War, so
we'll see.
Maybe, but maybe not. And we'll likely, I can't imagine.
I can't either.
I can't imagine not seeing a Black Panther sequel.
Also, the Infinity thing comes with its own retcon cheat code.
Yeah.
So just because you see anybody die doesn't mean they're going to stay dead. Because it's Infinity. It's the Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with Infinity Gauntlets.
Everything is on the table.
Yeah. It's reality altering. So they can literally go, damn, he died in this movie. Oh, the Infinity Gauntlet brought him back. Yep. It's just the ultimate cheat code.
He will be back.
Right.
So, yeah, but just think about that. Think about A great example is, like I said, Michael B. Jordan. Whatever you feel about his talent, it's irrelevant here. The point is he got this role because of his connection around Coogler.
Yep.
The bigger the scale, the more power exists.
Exactly.
Now Ryan Coogler, his next movie that's not like huge studio, he can pick his entire cast.
That's right.
His entire cast.
That's right.
So that also saying that now these lovely ladies who played these dynamic characters
Amazing
in this
characters.
movie,
Yeah.
they have a little more stroke now.
Yep.
Like I said, Letitia's going to be a star. That's undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that she doesn't become a star from this. It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in, and again, just even from a societal standpoint, you know, during the '90s, there was a huge boom in the film industry for African American actors, directors, producers, whatever. TV shows, films, you know. At a certain point, though, it kind of dried up a bit. And I remember seeing a interview with what's the brother's name? He was in Panther, not Black Panther, but the movie about the Panthers,
Right.
and he was in Jason's Lyric. What's his damn name? Something Bull. Woodbine, whatever. Anyway, I saw an interview with him on the Breakfast Club, and he talked about how there was this. It just dried up.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't get work. A lot of people really couldn't get work because they were putting them into stereotypical roles of being a criminal or, you know, pimp or whatever, you know. And we're witnessing now another resurgence of black film and television with actors, black actors and film directors, producers, because look at what we have now. Power, Empire, Blackish, and a host of new black films put together by black directors. Now, whatever you might think of the show Power or the show Empire,